Hello friends, and welcome to the Rayo Moon Oracle. I'm Rayo, and today we're continuing our Tarot Discovery series with the Temperance card, card number 14. So, as per usual, we'll be going over some descriptions of the cards, keywords. We'll take a look at the original Rider Waite imagery. I know I forgot that for the last card. We'll go over some other symbols and meanings, and then we'll get into reversals at that point after looking at the 3 cards I pulled for us today from other tarot decks. So, our Temperance card focuses on balance, patience, purpose, diplomacy. There's focus and harmony in this card, equilibrium, cooperation. So definitely a lot of cooperation with others, working as a team, that kind of thing. Lots of self-control, moderation. And then you get into aspects of like healing and renewal. Like the term alchemy is really cool for this card. I like it because it's that like transformation, that creation, that moderation kind of mixing, as we'll see with the Rider Waite imagery coming up here. And then you've got peace, tranquility, and perspective for this card. So numerology wise, so it's number 14, so that's 1 and 4, and then adding together is 5. So 5 is usually those like big changes, those challenges in our lives, but this one, the 1 and the 4 adding up, so that 1 is that self-control, that self-expression, and 4 is that stability, handling these challenges, that 5 number in a very controlled, purposeful, thought out way. So I think that's very interesting. Connects back to our Hierophant card because of that number. And then astrologically, it's the sign of Sagittarius, which is a fire zodiac sign. So we get that mutable energy because Sagittarius is a mutable sign. And so that like fire kind of enlightenment piece coming out. So in the original Rider Waite imagery, we've got this angel with both masculine and feminine features, holding 2 cups and pouring 1 cup into the other. There's lots of different like nature scenery behind them with like the mountains, and then you see the river kind of down in front of them, and they have 1 foot in the water and 1 foot out of the water. So that connection to nature and a higher purpose and those deeper emotions, and that alchemy kind of coming in with the pouring of the water, pouring of the cups. So we'll see 2 varying like those cups representing 2 opposites, or those 2 polarities in this case. So the number 2, 2 cups, dualities, a pretty heavily element and kind of symbol in this card as well for temperance. So other meanings for this card, talks about making safe choices, but not being afraid to challenge yourself or to make mistakes at the same time, making balanced life choices in this case. Being a moderator, being mutable, so being able to balance and control situation, make balanced choices again. So we've got change. Something I found when I was doing research was the phrasing for change the situation or change with the times. So using your intuition and using that higher knowledge to figure out what is going to be best in this case, in the scenario that you're in. So it talks about working with others again. There's that mixing and blending aspect to this card. Big piece of this card for sure. So with those balanced choices and balanced energy, you have the internal matching the external. So our internal processes and mind matching our external effort. We've got that appropriate action to the given situation. So then we, kind of those last little bits is like that flowing with life, accommodating for all perspectives, again, that moderation, that being mutable, that balancing, and then showing those like other ways, other pieces of your life that you need to rebalance. So things that you might need to keep developing out, and where you need to bring peace to your life. Okay, so the first card I have for us today from one of my other tarot decks is from the Seers Tarot. So I got this guy or person here. So I liked the wings coming out kind of in the a little bit more like metaphysical. They're kind of hard to see for a second, but I really liked that part. That duality here showing up in the moon and the sun, which I think is really cool. It's a very interesting way to show it. So you get that like silver and gold aspect to it, that moon and sun, light and shadow, fire and water, all those kinds of elements there. So we'll see that with other cards too as we're getting further in. With the Seers Tarot, it's very, it has all the same elements usually of the original Rider Waite imagery. So we see on the chest of the person there that square with the triangle in it in the kind of more of a tattoo form, which is kind of cool. I like all the color of this card. So there's like a lot of kind of like paint splatter and like pink and blue and green, a little bit different coloring there. You get a little bit of mountain ridge kind of in the background on that back left hand side there. The figure is an interesting looking one. So again, those kind of androgynous features there, but not my favorite like look of a person. They're a little bit funky looking. So I think they, like, just in terms of drawing, those art maybe could have been a tiny bit better in that case, but very cool card. I still really just like the aspect of like the moon and the sun for representing those polarities, those dualities there. So next Temperance card we have is the Santa Muerte. This one kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to pull the Santa Muerte for this one specifically, but I liked this one because of the vibrancy of the dress that the Temperance figure is wearing. We get those, the pouring of the cup, so that's the very representative of the original Rider Waite imagery, the one cup pouring into the other. You get kind of those nature aspects again, so we do see the water at the feet of the Temperance figure here. That mountain kind of replaced by the temple in the background on that back left-hand side there. We get those like cactuses, representative more harder aspects of nature, harder aspects of life, but those water and those plants and flowers and butterflies, representative of those like more special, like nicer moments. So, I just noticed that. Okay. What I thought was kind of like a cloak or something on the Temperance figure, turns out it is wings. I literally just caught that for a second. I was like, oh, what is that? It's wings. So you see those feathers kind of in that back, that like left-hand side right there underneath the Temperance figure's arm. I was like, okay, there's feathers. Oh, the whole thing is the wings. So instead of it being out and open and ready to fly potentially, these ones are a little bit more muted down, potentially hurt or not being able to be used. So that's really, really different for this Temperance figure. So that's cool. I like that. Again, every time I look at the Santa Muerte or I get further in, I see something I hadn't seen before with like first glance through, I'm like, okay, cool card. And then I dive further into the card, really, really look at the card. I'm like, oh, hey, that's there, that piece is there. That's super cool. So, anything else for this Temperance figure? Wings took me by surprise for sure. Butterflies we see, of course. I do like the halo over the head, so kind of representative of that divinity and knowledge again. So with the, of course, of the original Rider Waite imagery being that angel figure, that divinity, that knowledge there, so that comes through with this card here as well. But the final card I have for us is from the Gilded Tarot. So this one here, very striking colors in this card for sure. Lots and lots of colors. So we see the blue and the red kind of representing those dualities again. We do see the two cups here, one silver and one gold. So those dualities, and then one is holding water, the silver holding the water, the gold holding the fire, more duality energy there, that tempering, that balance. So of course tempering comes with the Temperance card, right? So tempering the elements, tempering ourselves, tempering our emotions with our mental and our physical, all those pieces adding together and really making balanced, moderated decision making, right? So we have what looks like Mars in the background. We've got a lot of blue and red coloring here. Let's see. Floating kind of in the air, so representative of that angel aspect again, that divinity, that knowledge, that higher power. So very, very beautiful card, very striking. I liked her visual a lot, so that's kind of why I ended up choosing this one, because I was just like, oh, this one's really pretty. And I don't use the Gilded Tarot a lot. There's some cards that are just not for me, and other ones where I'm like, oh, that's super beautiful, and that's why I ended up getting the deck in the first place. So that's the Gilded Tarot, and our final card for that part of the video here. So now let's get into reversals. So typically, for the longest time, reversals were too much of the card or not enough of the card. In terms of Temperance, though, we have what is like when we're like certain like aspects of being out of balance. So when we are like angry and hostile and mean to the world, or kind of when we need to do like healing or reevaluate the situations. Those are kind of those different meanings for the reversal of the Temperance card. But what I have here, so we have imbalance, volatility, poor judgment, intolerance, recklessness, bad decision making, conflicts of interest. When we're not listening to ourselves and figuring out what is limiting us and what's out of balance within ourselves, that's when that Temperance can show up in reverse here. The word I used already, hostility, what in our life is neglected or needs realignment. This is where our self-healing comes in, that reevaluation process and making changes in our life. So that's why that Temperance might show up in reverse as well. Temperance can show up in reverse when we are being overindulgent. We have discord in our lives, antagonism. I wrote overindulgence twice apparently, but excessiveness, and then when we're falling into those extremes, right? So we do see all those dualities there, that fire and water, that moon and sun. If we're too much in one side versus the other, that's when we're falling into those extremes here. So Temperance card is a very, very positive card overall. It's it's representative of yes and a yes or no reading for tarot. So a very positive card to get in most aspects when you're seeing it in the upright anyway. So, and then even when it's in reverse, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just really calling for a reevaluation of the situation before things do get bad, and maybe you get another one of the major arcanas in the reverse that's a little bit more intense and a little bit more mean potentially. So Temperance is a very, again, like its name, it's a very balanced, tempered card. So really great to see in terms of career or in love or just a general reading, everything where it's like, okay, everything's balanced and even, and there's cooperation, there's lots of good things there. And then when it's showing up in reverse, when those things aren't there, but it's like, hey, reevaluate, figure this out, see where you need to get this back in your life and make those tempered, moderated decisions. So a good card overall. Very, very pretty card, very striking card in pretty much any deck I've seen so far. I really like the imagery behind this card. So that is all I have for us today, friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.